Well, great to have you back for a few more moments after, the highest day of the year, really, Easter Sunday, of all the things that we celebrate and talk about in the midst of the church and who we are in Christ and being followers of Jesus. Easter Sunday is it. I mean, that really resets. I almost think of this in my mind as, wow, now this is kind of life given, life revitalized, life. It's like a new year. I think of this as the start of a new year, a spiritual year of sorts. So there's so many great things to be able to walk through and say through and enjoy the resurrection with. But one of the points that you ought to hang on to and let it resonate in your mind and your heart are the reality that when Christ rises from the dead, so you have this identification with him. So he dies Good Friday, right? He rises from the dead. He is risen. Remember, that's a big point. We don't say he has risen. He indeed has risen, but he is risen. And then the risen Christ, now because you believe in him and believe on him, he now comes to live in you. And so we kind of closed our thoughts on Sunday with that very thing, that Christ is in you. The resurrected Christ now lives in you. So that means his death is your death, not atonement, but in dead to the world, right? You are alive in him. So now his life is your life. And then we had enjoyed baptisms, which are a great picture of that. And so as Paul's writing in the New Testament, and the writers are writing, the apostles, and they're fleshing out the points, and God's filling them, and they're the words that we understand and go by. There is this presumption that if they're speaking to Christians, they presume upon the reality that you are risen. Now think of that through here for a minute. You are risen with Christ. You are already, in a spiritual sense, resurrected. So the resurrection of your body is yet to come. But because Christ is in you, he's risen, you are risen. And I love this passage. This is Paul writing to the Colossians. And he speaks of it this way, and almost like you need to slow down and think about it because it has such great practical implications for how you now live as a result of Easter, as a result of the resurrected Christ who's now in you. And listen to what he says here. This comes from Colossians 3 and just the first couple verses, 1 through 4. If then you have been raised with Christ, look how he starts. Now think that through for a moment. If isn't like if or maybe if not. If is like a since. If this applies to you, right? Since, I'm going to speak to you who are believers. Since you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are here on earth, for you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Now, what a great thought to think through in the context of what follows after Easter Sunday. Christ is in you. If indeed you are risen with Christ, you are. Now he says, set your minds on things above, where Christ, it's a position of doneness, seated at the right hand of God. Complete, done. He's seated. So that means when you live your life now, you're dead, right? For you have died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. So the life you now live, you live for Christ. When you go to school, in many ways, Christ is in school. Because he's with you, and you're doing this in him, with him. He's with you. When you're at work, he's with you. When you live your life, what you decide to do, how you do it. You do it as if the reality that he is with you, not just as if. See, we speak too weakly, but with the reality that he is with you. So the life you live isn't really your life anymore, it's his life. And that's when he says, when Christ returns, then your life, you will also appear with him, because now his life is going to be seen by everybody. And in that sense, so will your resurrected life be seen by everybody. So that's great encouragement. That's the Easter follow-up. You're the risen. You are risen with him. And now, since you've died and rose with him, you now live his life here on this earth. And that's a great thought. Apply it to every moment that you have today and tomorrow, and quite frankly, for the rest of your life. That's what God would have as a result of Easter Sunday.